Good evening. Welcome to another fun-filled night here on Spirit Connections WCTV. How's everyone doing? Good. I love having
our audience out there is quiet.
Yes. Yeah. So tonight is a special night, just like every Tuesday night here at the studio. But we have legendary Frank Grace on with us. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. This is exciting. I'm a little nervous, but
Don't be nervous.
as like I think I told you, I used to watch. I mean, I watch this all the time. Before I even met you or was introduced to you. So this is kind of a big deal for me.
First-time guest, long-term viewer?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
So for those of you who don't know who Frank is, it's called Trig Photography.
Yep.
Well, that's the name of your website, or is it
Right.
actually called Trig Photography?
That's the name of the website.
Okay, it's just
Yeah.
the name of the website. So his website's trigphotography.com, but he is a photographer, and he's best known as a photographer at our Legend Trips events,
Right. Yep.
hosted by Tim Weisberg and Jeff Belanger. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always have an interest in photography, or was it
well,
something?
I had an interest in photography, way back when my dad bought a film Canon camera, and I don't know, it always looked kind of mysterious and, technical, and you had to load the film in and everything. And one time I asked him if I could use it, and I hooked it up. He just, oh, here you go, here's everything. And I actually tried it, and none of the pictures came out. It was an abomination. But later on, I ended up getting a compact 35mm camera and just took pictures of everything and just tried it. And from there, it kind of grew into the digital age. And and here I am today. It's just it's a hobby. It's not what I do for a job. It's a lot of fun. And it's fulfilling. It's really cool to see when somebody says, "Hey, I like that image." Or,
well, it's funny that you call it a hobby because you do it so well.
well, I am fortunate that I have a boss who puts up with this passion of mine. He actually will tell me to go places and say, "Hey, what's going on today at work?" And it's like, "Well, not much. And let's go to Boston and you can take some photos." So I'm fortunate that I have Aaron as one heck of a boss. So
Excellent.
he's very understanding. He puts up with it. He keeps saying we're going to have a little gallery at work of all my stuff hanging up in the hallways, and so that's kind of how it all started.
And for those of you who are just tuning in, hopefully you are watching us. You want to go to warehamtv.org. I believe the spooky line is down at the moment, so you want to go in. You can still use the chat room, but you want to go to warehamtv.org, or you can give us a call with questions at 781-281-8433.
When you do go to warehamtv.org, go to watch, then web streams, then live stream 1, and you'll find us.
And if you have an issue, just check in the chat room, and Steph will be able to type it out for you, so you'll know. Now, so I want to actually pull up some of these pictures of yours, just so
Okay.
people can see, because again, he uses the term hobby so lightly.
Let's see. Well, it could. That's exactly.
I know, but you're just so good.
Now, how do
Okay, so
We
I
have no
believe.
idea.
I guess we'll
believe
see
what
it.
happens
Are they going to
is-
show up in the back there?
Yep, you can
Possibly.
pick whichever
Let
one
me
you
see
want.
which one. Okay.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Okay.
Let me see. Oh, all right, this here is what kind of started me off in this kind of abandoned places, historic places.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Orpheum Theater in New Bedford, Massachusetts.
My hometown.
Gorgeous.
Yep, this is a place that I saw on Facebook.
Oh, look, and here we
Somebody,
are.
look at that.
Hey.
Look at that.
Actually, we can see the whole. If you guys want to put on the whole shot, I like that. See how
So-
easy we disappear?
Yeah, this is the Orpheum Theater, and I remember seeing a video of this. They had these rope light tours, and they're trying to. How's the cookie? Good.
Fantastic.
So they have these rope light tours, and they're trying. There's a group that's trying to restore this theater, and like, oh my goodness, I gotta get in there and photograph that place. It just looks. I mean, I just want to go inside the place.
Right.
I'm not a theater person, but it just looked amazing. So I contacted this guy, actually, Brian Raposa, who did the video of the rope light tour, and I said, Brian, who do I contact to ask if I can go inside there? he put me in touch with this guy, Chuck Hauk, and he was the president of Off Inc., who is the people trying to restore the theater. And I got in touch with him, and he said, "Oh, you're more than welcome to come on by, and next time we're in there, you can get in there, because we're trying to get this on the National Historic Register." So he had me in there. I went in there and I took some photos, and I didn't know what to expect. It was very, very dark. This photo is very deceiving. It is really, really dark in there. There's only a couple of lights in there. Took the photos. He liked them so much that he actually sent them to the League of Historic American Theaters organization to show them, look, this is what our organization's doing. We're trying to get this building restored. And I ended up, this is my one claim to fame. I ended up getting a phone call from someone who saw these pictures on this mailing list. And he says, wanted to buy 2 of the images. I'm like, okay, which ones? And he walked through the list of all the images that were on there. He wanted to buy one like this of the stage and the fresco on the ceiling, and one from down in the seats looking just up at the stage. Make a long story short, he says, okay, these are for a friend of mine. I want to make sure that these are going to look okay. What do you recommend? I said, oh, get them on metallic paper. And I'm like, this is like the first or second photo I'm selling. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, but they're going to look great. And so he says, oh, they're for a friend of mine, and I really want these to look nice. I want to make sure he's going to be happy with these. I said, I can guarantee you're going to be happy with these. He says, okay, I'm going to order them tonight, and I will send them to my friend, Bruce Springsteen.
Really?
So I said, the boss, Bruce Springsteen? and he says, yeah, he's a childhood friend of mine, and I want to get these as a gift. We filmed, he let us film a bunch of concerts, and he played the films of the concerts in these theaters kind of like this. And Bruce donated the profits for showing the movie, people that watched it, to the theaters to help them restore and maintain the theaters. So
That's really
that kind of got the ball rolling. I was like, wow.
That gave you the
Bruce,
motivation,
yeah,
like, wow,
I was like,
all
wow,
right,
this,
I can do
and
this.
And so, but I ended up becoming the president of that organization for 2 years, and got a lot of photographers in there. We had a photography show at Gallery X in New Bedford. So that kind of started the ball rolling, especially with abandoned, haunting-looking type of theaters and just buildings in general that are just left behind, and everybody calls her a sleeping beauty because she's just there and nothing's being done with it.
Now I've noticed, and if we go through some more of these pictures, I noticed that you've done some, there you go, a beach scene. Actually, that's where Steph got married,
yeah,
right?
That's right. That's Ned's Point in Mattapoisett. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a sunset. Perfect spot. I can see why you'd want to get married. It was cold this day though. When did you get married? Was it?
September.
Oh, okay. So that was
I was there.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Playing the harp.
That's a
You're
great.
right.
Actually, when I was these cars on the side, when I was trying to take photos of this, there was a wedding gonna be held right out in front of it. So, yeah, I like these spots. Again, another historic monument. Lighthouses. You can't go wrong with a lighthouse.
Right.
And of course, beach, because there's some beach scenes in there too.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's so many, guys.
That's
you
really
have
cool.
to really check it out. This is actually my cover photo on my personal Facebook page. Because I love it.
I still have the print in my office for you with this, the metal print. Yeah.
Will you tell me and I'll...
Okay.
So where's
Right.
this?
This was in,
Situate?
I believe this was Situate, right. And this was obviously the rocks were not climbing up to the sky like that. And yeah, this was just a flat scene. It was freezing cold. I went with my buddy Ed, childhood friend who's also a photographer. He's really good, Ed King. And I was like, I wonder if I can make those rocks look like you're climbing up through the sky, up to the clouds. And learned about it in Photoshop. The guy was telling your friend Jay, just find out how to do it, did it, and hey, that looks okay.
Really cool.
It's an interesting, I put a little shot of myself up there standing at the top of it.
Right, and I didn't notice it until, and maybe if you guys can put it back on the screen so everybody, yep, there you go. If you look very closely, you can see a person up there.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So it's very mysterious.
So I love these, I love these kind of surreal kind of looks to things, and anything that makes you, questions your imagination, or, Makes you think hyper-real.
What's one of your favorites?
We'll get back to that one. One of my favorites. Oh, you know
Yep.
these guys. This is probably one of my big-time favorites.
That's really
This
cool.
is in New Bedford, Massachusetts. This is
Yep.
Palmer's Island. This was at a sunrise. Very cool place. You can only get there at low tide. In the back there, you see Fairhaven. The light, I don't think, is lit anymore. This was like, I think it was 2 years ago. But magical spot for a sunrise. I mean, it looks gorgeous like that. And the history of this particular place goes back to the last keeper that lived on that island. Was in 1938, was that major hurricane. I think it was the hurricane of 38. His wife died on that island thinking she was going to go out and save him in a rowboat, and he had to go climb to the top and passed out, and they found her body the next day. And but this is definitely one of my favorites. That was just a cool spot.
So do you think it's more, your passion is fueled by passion for history as well? Because I feel like
think so. I never really,
tend to
I never
go-
thought of myself as somebody that likes history, but I think so. What I try to do at these places is you try, and Jay will know, you take a photo like this, and it doesn't look like this when you take it. But when I'm there, this is what it looks like to me. You know, I try to process this in such a way that you get the feeling that you were there. It's tough to describe, but to make it look like this is how I felt when I was there taking this photo.
Well, I feel like it's enhanced, but it brings in the emotion tied
it's been
to
called
the
it's been
picture.
called surreal, hyper-real. Yeah, it's. I have a hard time looking at normal. I see this and I think this is a normal photo. I don't see it as, I guess, for what it is. It's weird.
Right.
After a while, you just kind of tend to get used to it.
I
But
love
it's
it.
gorgeous.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Do you know where this is?
Yes.
Okay. This is White's Factory in Acushnet, another really cool place. This is an old cotton textile mill. I like textile mills. I'm a textile chemist, so I like the whole history of textiles. But this is a great spot, about 5 minutes from home, probably about 5 minutes from
Yeah.
you as well. Great place for a sunset. A lot of people take their engagement photos there.
It's so interesting because being a child, like driving by this constantly, like you kind of take it for granted.
Right,
'Cause
right.
It's just there, like it's just part of history, and it's amazing that people actually go down there and actually
Yeah.
like,
Little
use it.
a little known fact about this place. I was there taking photos once, and there was a guy off to the side, and I said, "Oh, you know, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm so and so," and I was with my friend Kevin. He goes, "Hey, do you know who that is?" I said, "No." He goes, "That's the guy that keeps this place looking neat." This guy loves the history of Acushnet, and he goes there on his own time, mows the lawn, weed whacks everything, keeps it nice and clean because he knows people go there to take, you know, prom pictures, wedding pictures, first communion pictures, you name it. They take pictures there and everything. So, great location.
And so is this considered HD photography?
This is called HDR photography. And what that means is it's high dynamic range. So if you take this normal photo here, and if you just take this with a camera and just take a regular shot, you'll either see the sun really bright, and all the structure will be black. So you take a series of photos of very underexposed, so you'll see the sky, and overexposed, so the shadows are bright. And then you merge them with tone mapping software, it's called. So you kind of blend what your eye can see, closer to what I can see than what the camera can see, because the camera has some limitations to what you can actually see. So it's called HDR. Easy to do. Little learning. There's a learning curve to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's addictive. It's funny, a lot of photographers cannot stand this type of photography. My stuff has been called clown vomit. oh yeah. Some people absolutely hate it. Oh, some people love it. I find that most people that are not photographers love it. But yeah, there's a love-hate relationship with this this form of photography.
I think any type of art should be looked at.
Yeah, you know, you can tell Picasso he can't paint, right? Because he's not painting, or, you know, yeah. But,
Too opinionated.
yeah. And these are some of the abandoned places. This is the Belchertown School for the Feeble-Minded in Belchertown, Massachusetts. Love these spots. It's just abandoned, decay, peeling paint, green tint from the, in the back of that doorway, they have those green fiberglass panels.
Now, do you need to get permission to go into these places?
Some of them are wide open. Most of them are wide open. Most of the ones I go to are wide open.
I didn't know if you were just being
You're not
a
supposed
sneaky...
to. You're not supposed to go in them. It does say no trespassing in some of these places. But if it's wide open, I'll go in and take the risk of, you know, because I'm just there taking photos. I'm not taking anything away or destroying anything. A lot of these places are completely graffitied up, and but again, these are these places that they're just haunting to be into.
Now, speaking about haunting, I had mentioned that you are the official photographer of Legend Trips.
Right. Yep.
So,
Let me see if I can. Okay.
there we go. I think everybody around this area recognizes this place.
Let me find this
whoops.
one here. Hold on. This will be the perfect introduction to.
Look at all of these.
Okay. So how did I get involved in Legend Trips?
Yes.
I started listening to the radio show a while ago. Found it on podcast when I
Spooky
first got
South
my
Coast.
iPod. Spooky South Coast. Great radio show. I would listen to the podcast on the way to work on Mondays and sent Tim Weisberg a friend request. And I'm like, and one day he asked, hey, I'm looking for photos of Ouija boards, something or other, anything, objects for my book that ended up to be Ghost on the Shelf. So I said, Tim, you can use this photo. This is one that I took of a Ouija board in my basement with a candle. And he's like, oh, I got to use this. And he used it. It actually made his book. It's actually a 2-page layout, which was pretty cool. It was amazing to be.
It just sounds funny because you're like, oh, Tim, I just took this picture with my candle. And to us, we're like, this is amazing. And you're like, I just took it.
Well, it's... And I was excited because here I am in Tim's book. I'm on the front, I think on the back, or in the middle, and on the back. And one day, I think I had posted somewhere, they were doing a Legend Trip event in Slater Mill. And he contacted me. He said, hey, would you be interested in photographing this event for us? I'm like, are you kidding? Of course I'd do this. And that's how it all kind of started. He uses the photos. He has connections. I get into some of these places ahead of time to take them to use as promo shots, and that's kind of how I started off with the Legend Trips guys and Spooky South Coast. Again, it was kind of surreal listening to the radio show, and now I know the guys. A really amazing group, and the Legend Trips events are pretty spectacular. I didn't know what to expect. The first one I went on was the Lizzie Borden, one of the Lizzie Borden houses, the Lizzie Borden house event, the museum. And I didn't know, and for anybody out there who is wondering if they should go on a Legend Trips event, the answer is yes. Whether you are an investigator, whether you are just curious about it, whether you just want to watch it, all types of people go. It is fun. I brought my dad to one recently, and he didn't know what to expect. He didn't want to get involved, and he was thinking that everybody's going to show up with all this equipment, and he was just kind of look like, what am I doing here type thing. Right. He enjoyed himself just like I enjoyed myself on the first couple of ones, and that's how I got involved with them. It's been fun ever since. They. As you girls know, they know how to throw a party. They know how to throw an event.
It's a good time, especially for paranormal enthusiasts that want to get out and might not have the opportunity to go to some of these places. Actually, can we bring up some of the places that we've been to? I think that would be.
Let's see.
We're not there yet.
Not there yet. Let's see. Is Slater Mill. That's the first one the second one that I went on. Slater Mill in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Very cool spot. I mean, you guys had like everybody there. Carl and Keith Johnson.
It was great to have those guys there too.
It's my least favorite building in Slater Mill.
Your least favorite? Why?
there's a lot of activity in that
A lot
building.
of activity going on there?
And it actually makes me sick to my stomach.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Where I have to walk out and just breathe fresh air.
Well,
and come back
I
in.
have a question for, you,
Okay.
for the two of you. When I go into these places, people ask, well, what's it like going into these places? You know, going into Lizzie Borden's house or Slater Mill or any place that's purported to be haunted. And I'm like, well, it's amazing to be able to be in there, but I don't necessarily feel anything when I'm in there. It's kind of just another building to me. Not another building, but I don't feel what you would feel, I guess, going into the. I don't. It's. I guess I'm as psychic or as sensitive as a block of wood. So, is there a way for someone to turn that on?
Yes, it takes determination, it takes
Okay.
practice, it takes completely changing the way that you think.
Letting
Okay.
yourself go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
All
in the
right.
physical sense.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how you always have that guard up. You
Right.
know, just you're aware, you're hypervigilant, you're making sure that you know everything around you. It's almost kind of like that, but to a whole nother level.
Okay.
Like you're not just using like your common senses to
Right.
kind of see everything around you. You're actually using every sense. So it's
I feel like, go ahead.
you might be able to answer it a little bit better than me as to how to turn it on. I know how to turn it off, and I'm not very good at turning it off. I was born with it, so I don't know how to
Right.
be
Okay.
otherwise.
Otherwise, right? So then
I
that's
didn't
difficult to
understand
answer.
My children
Right.
would not like me. I had
Right. Mm-hmm.
no idea. I can teach other people how to do it, but to tell you how it is to be in your shoes, I have no idea.
Wow. So you grew up thinking that
I was
you were normal,
Yeah.
right? Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, like seeing, like I could physically see spirits. I still can, but that's not normal for mediums either. So when I'm kind of looking at somebody, just like I'm looking at you
Mm-hmm.
as a child, my poor father was like, we're gonna wait till your mom gets home from work to deal with this. 'Cause
Wow.
he wasn't sure what to make of me, but my mom was the medium and my dad was the ghost hunter. I remember finding pictures that he took with a really old expensive camera in black and white and infrared
Yeah.
film that you
Yep.
had to go and develop back in like the 70s and 80s and everything else. And it was funny because I said, why do these pictures look funny? I had to be like 4. He's like, oh, I was taking pictures of the property to see if there were any ghosts before I moved in. And I thought
Okay.
he was joking.
Right. Yeah.
Until like years later, I was like, oh.
He was
I get it
serious,
now.
right.
I understand. I figured out what an infrared camera is. So it's funny, but even though he had that part of him that was looking for the afterlife,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want to accept the fact that I was the gray area that he needed to
Ah,
deal
okay.
with. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what it's like, but I know Tiffany decided later on in life to kind of hone in on what
Nurture
skills
it,
she
kinda.
might have. Yep.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. I mean, because I go in all these places, and the only place I'd ever felt anything was at the Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yep.
Was in there, during the day, just taking photos of the cells, and there was one cell block where nothing is really reported to have happened there, and you get this sinking feeling, this miserable sinking feeling. The air is heavy. That was the only time anything ever, I guess, happened to me.
Probably because there is so much that went on in there, and the place is so big that the energy was overwhelming enough to
Right.
touch.
Yeah.
You
It's
have
still-
to. You have to come with me. We have to get stuff there.
I know. Well, you decided to take a random trip there without me, so you're still punished for that.
It is an amazing place.
It's yeah.
I'd love to go, but maybe before the next legend trips, we'll do a few little exercises with you in the parking
Oh,
lot
cool.
and see if
Yeah,
you
all right. Yeah, I'd
can
be.
feel.
that would
If you're open
Basically,
to it.
it's funny because
I definitely am. Yeah.
I did a house party last week, and one of the girls was very highly intuitive, and so she started talking to me about her situation and her experiences, and she, to the other girl she said, "Can't you guys feel the energy in here though?" And everybody looks at her and they go, "No."
No.
And I'm like, you and I can feel it, but they
Right.
can't. But
Yeah.
it's like letting yourself go. You can't have that logic step in. You have to go with your intuition,
And
your
it's hard.
first thought.
Because we
It
do
is.
it sometimes
Yeah.
too. Like, I'm completely oblivious when it comes to some things, and it actually makes me laugh to the point where it's like I should know,
Right.
but I have no idea.
Wow.
Like, when it comes to myself, I second guess everything for myself. Like, they tell you that
yeah.
you can't read yourself, but then there's other times where you know something's going to happen
Right.
and you're dead set on it. I don't know how they control it, but that's how they do it.
Huh.
And It's an interesting life. I'll tell you that
Oh,
much.
I can imagine, yeah.
Well, I always go to Steph because even though I know the answer, I'll be like, okay,
need
let
your
me just tell you the
validation.
situation.
Yep.
And again, like I'll know that answer straight, but I just need to hear it from her just to
Right.
say, no, you were right. This
Yep.
is why you're feeling that way, and this is. But it's true. Like we can pick up on. It's like a switch. We can pick up on
Right.
anyone's
Yep.
energy.
Like
Wow.
I'll be walking around and I'm very good at ignoring what I have because it's easier for me to ignore it than listen to it because it's overwhelming.
So can you walk into these places and shut it off? Or
Yeah.
really? Wow, okay.
I got so good at ignoring it that I was able to do that. But there are times where if I ignore it and I'm not meant to, it'll slap me in the face. And I've been slapped in the face many a time.
I always
Hey,
like
look
the
at-
story when we went with. Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling. Must
It's
have
okay.
been the
I can
cookie.
hear my echo, so
Sorry.
I feel like I'm yelling too.
Stephanie, I liked the story that we tell when we went with Andy and Matt to a private residence house, and we were up on, was it the 3rd floor?
Yes.
And you physically saw someone,
Mm-hmm.
and since I don't I see them in my mind's eye, so she physically saw someone charging at her, and I just go right.
Oh, there was a 2nd floor. Oh my goodness. So just to segue a little bit into a fun story for you, we're at a private residence. We'll tell you about after. It's actually right here in Wareham, and it was pretty significant
to the history.
to the history.
Of
And
Wareham.
I walk throughout the whole house. Like Tiffany will walk in and she'll just start talking. I have to walk around and see everything first, and then I'll start talking and I'll do my
Okay.
tour all over again. I just take my time. Like I take in everything, I listen, I see. Because I can see, I do that. And it got to be nighttime, and I kept saying the whole time, nighttime, as soon as the sun sets, this house is gonna blow up. Like the energy is gonna go crazy.
Right.
And I kept saying it, kept saying it, kept saying it. And so finally it's dark. I walk into a room, and I told them earlier I felt like it was their meeting area. It was their meeting room. And I saw the head honcho turn around and fly at me, which he was known to do to people. I run screaming out the door because he's flying at me. I almost run over Andy Lake. Like, it was so close.
And you see him like he's actually there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Like, he's trying to intimidate me to leave.
Right.
Which he's known to do as well. And it's just weird to have somebody fly at you in the middle of the dark anyway. So, of course, my fight or flight is
yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm getting
get
the
the
hell
heck
outta
out of
here.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I run. I almost fall down the stairs, which it did happen to somebody in that house in the same stairwell. So, I'm
Wow.
like, okay, well, that was pretty significant as well. Well, Tiffany just goes walking on in like nobody's in there and starts going, okay, well, I feel energy in this corner, and I'm like down the stairs already.
yeah.
Like, see
Yeah.
you later. I'm not going back in there. As much as I can walk into these places, things do scare me. I
I've
mean-
only had one experience, and again, it was the town of Acushnet residence that we went to.
Okay.
There was that was the 3rd floor, where there
Yes.
was a little section.
Those 3rd floors, they're
I
weird.
know,
Stay out of
Stay
them.
out of the 3rd floor.
Um,
But that was when I had that
I
experience.
think you have a picture of that
I
place,
do, yeah. I'm trying to find it.
Of which one?
the Acushnet
The
residence.
Christian residence.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it.
Did I go by it?
There's so many. And if you guys, obviously, we don't want to go
Yes.
through all these so quickly, so definitely go to trigphotography.com
I
so
know
you can
those
take
people.
your time. And you can actually order pictures, which is another topic I want to talk about
Okay.
too.
Hold on a second. Where is that?
I saw it. Oh, there it
There it
is.
is.
Nope.
Somebody doesn't want us to talk about it.
That's right. Wow, that's really weird. I just
Yeah.
went right by it. Now it's not going there again.
Weird things happening in this studio?
Well, it
No.
used to be an old funeral parlor.
Funeral parlor, yep. And it was one of the oldest residences is in Acushnet. So I'm born and raised New Bedford, and I live in Acushnet now. So I'm like, oh wow, a place that's right near my house. This is awesome. Let's go there. And Tiffany and I have been quite a few times, and are friends with the owners. And
There it is.
it is a very interesting place to be. That is for sure.
I was just.
I was gonna say, if it's gonna be rude, just keep it in.
I'm just gonna because I was just gonna say something, and it would come out wrong.
Yes, yes.
So
That's why
I'm
I
just
said
gonna-
rude, not inappropriate. But
Can you put the picture on the screen, please?
This is the Sam West house, right?
yes, this is the Sam West house. It's an awesome picture. I love it.
Yeah, that's definitely a. I remember hearing the Spooky South Coast, the interview they did with the owners on that and the EVPs and everything, and like, wow, yeah, the airplane crash or something near there.
Yep.
Now, has there ever been a place for you where you're just thinking, you know what? I know you said you think of them as just old buildings, but were you ever intimidated to actually go into one because of the history?
No, not at all. Because
That's
it's
really
kind of
cool.
like it's not that it's not like it's just a building. It's more of I have an appreciation of what it was for and what it was about, rather than just a building. Is in that I don't get any sensations or feelings from the building other than an appreciation for the history behind it.
Right.
But no, I've never been afraid to.
I think this is one that we went in originally, and then the third time I went back, I was terrified to go back
Really?
in there.
Wow.
But have you been inside?
I have not yet. No,
We'll have to hook you up.
I know her.
Okay,
know
I was
the
gonna
owner,
say,
but
we'll
I
have
haven't
to-
I haven't been in there yet.
It's interesting, but the energy changes very often.
Does it?
Yes,
Okay.
to the point where the third time I went in there, I wanted to run screaming out of there.
Wow.
Just because it was what I was dealing with was just some negative energy that decided to meet us that night. So
Wow.
it was interesting. But the first time we went, we had a really good time. Matt Manise looked at me at my first Legend Trips event where I was hiding in the corner as an investigator.
Right.
And he accidentally overheard me talking and looked at me. He's like, I know what you do. He's like, I want to bring you to the Sam West house. So I was like, okay. It took him a year to take me.
Yep.
Matt fashion. But he took us both that night, and the two of us, like, sometimes we were right on together, other times she was talking to one person, I was talking to another, so Matt had to kind of like split his time and figure out what was going on. But it was a really good experience. But that house has a lot of stuff going on. I drive by almost every day and I look at the windows and I'm like, oh, there's somebody looking out from the third floor.
Wow.
That's fun. I always want to text the owner and say, like, so your third floor window to the right,
Wow.
there's somebody hanging out.
Yeah. Andy speaks very highly of the two of you on his investigations, and that I think it's Situate he's doing. There's a house
Yep.
there,
Yep.
right? Yeah, and there's a video he plays of you, I think,
Yep.
changing into like having a moment where you almost.
I always have
She does
moments.
that.
I always
She
have
does that.
And they
moments.
said, "Here's a rare video of Tiffany eating," and then she's doing
No, it's
something
not
else.
rare.
What?
I eat all. That's all I think about.
No, but yeah, you.
The EVP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Jasmine EVP. That's probably one of the
Oh,
most
yeah.
profound
Wow.
like EVPs that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that was
That
over
was-
a year ago.
That was fun. That was a fun time.
That was over a year ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, we love working with those guys.
Yeah.
You know, we always rave about them and being
It's
so
like
down to
working with
earth and-
family, so there's that
Exactly.
comfort level too.
And it's down to earth. There's no BS. And what I like about those guys is that they are very skeptical.
Yes.
You know, they're not believing everything they hear or see, or, you know, they actually question everything. And, you know, I know Matt is one of the big reasons for that, because he's a scientist, so he looks for evidence. But yeah, that's what I really like about those guys, is that, you know, you listen to some shows and it's anything happens, it's, oh, you know, no, that was a ghost. They look for reasons behind it. That's
Right.
I really admire those guys. Yeah.
Now, I hope you're going to be joining us on the USS Salem.
Definitely. Most definitely. I actually
Good.
went there today to
Cool.
do some promo shots.
And for you guys that don't know, that's the next Legend Trip event, which is the USS Salem in Quincy. Huge battleship.
Yes.
Naval ship.
We were able to go. When did we go? It was cold out.
November 27th, maybe. I don't know.
I
might
think it
be
was
wrong
end
the
of
day.
November.
It was after
It was freezing.
Thanksgiving.
We were
So
wearing
cold.
so many layers. And it was actually, the ship was actually kind of warm, surprisingly.
I was in there today, and I think it was like 110 degrees in there.
Oh my
It
God.
was really, really hot in there. Well,
So
today.
apparently the next Legend Trip's it's going to be naked.
Yeah, I
Oh
was going to
man,
say.
yeah. It's, like, it's
Go in your underwear.
August 31st, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Which is a Saturday.
And check out legendtrips.com for more information
Yep.
on it. But the ship itself is absolutely amazing. There's a operation room in there that I saw. There's a dentist room in there. There's hospital beds. There's tons of
It's almost
memorials
like,
in there. Well, it's basically a floating museum
Yeah,
is what it
yep.
is.
it's amazing.
It's a lot like the Battleship Cove in Fall River, but it's big and it has that sense of haunting decay to it as well.
Do we have pictures yet or no?
I don't know.
No.
I haven't got a chance to go through them yet. But yeah, I'm looking very forward to that event.
That's going to be fun.
That should be amazing. There's a lot of room on that.
Yes.
It is. It's. I never realized how big it was until we were actually on it.
Yep, Tiff and I kind of took off and did our own thing and like walked around, and by the end we were kind of figuring out where we were, but we kept getting lost.
Yeah.
And because it was so easy. First of all, it's pitch dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept walking around with my eyes closed because I was afraid somebody was going to walk out in front of me and I'd see them. So I was like holding on to her, walking around, and we were actually with Cody Desbians, and it was just the three of us. We were just kind of hanging out.
Did you have any experiences in there?
Yes.
We had a few, like, by ourselves. It was a little tough with the amount of people that were with us, just because they were really into the technical side of things rather than what we could do. So, which is fine. We're totally okay with that. We were kind of just observing and, like, seeing what it was like and just getting a chance to be, like, with them and, with like, on the ship and stuff. But we had a few little things happen to us when we were just by ourselves, and it was really cool. But I'm looking forward to, I love the way that Legend Trips runs their events, and just all that good energy is, I think it's going to stir up some good stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait for Jeff's history of the place and his comic style that he has with explaining things. Yeah, it's I can't wait for it. It should be one heck of an event.
So you guys should definitely go check out legendtrips.com. I believe the sale, it goes on sale. I know there's a pre-sale going on.
There's a pre-sale right now, I believe. I don't know when it goes. I can check and see when it goes on sale for the public. But that's going to be an interesting event. We'll see. That's probably going to be a lot of people, too.
That one
It's a
I
big
imagine is gonna sell fast.
And Steph and I will be there doing readings.
Yes.
I don't know where we're gonna go, but we'll find a place. We're always in a little area. I always say the first. What wasn't called Legend Trips at that time? It was called Para History Night, I believe. Para Night. I did readings in the bathroom.
She did readings in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, and I was like, "Do you
And
need
I
a
laughed at
minute?
her.
Do you want me to leave? I can go. It's
But
okay."
there was literally nowhere at this place. Have you ever been to the Water Street Cafe in Oliver? I don't think it's Water Street anymore. I think they changed the name. I just drove by the other day. And there was nowhere to do readings. So Tiffany ended up in the ladies' bathroom. And I was just like, you let me know if you need anything. I'll be out here. Like, have fun. It was really funny. But
I think we have to go. Let's just let her do her thing.
That's when the whole reading/legend trip thing was kind of born. So
right.
Wow. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I noticed a lot. I was there. All the lights were on when I was there today. So there's a lot of small rooms there.
Oh yeah.
Like off to the side, and that's another question I have. When you're at these places doing an event, and you're doing a reading in a place that has activity, how does that not interfere with?
It does.
It does.
It does.
So you got to filter out what's going on.
When we were reading at Haunted History Night right around the corner over here, we were both in the schoolhouse. That's where we were.
You were in the kitchen section.
She was in the schoolhouse. I was in like the little kitchen section. We both had flashlights because we were scared to death to be in the dark by ourselves. Yeah. I read in the dark, and people are like, "Do you normally do this?" I'm like, "No, I normally have lights on."
This is for effect.
This is just for Legend Trips effect. But it was so funny because we were like huddled together when we were waiting for our next reading to come because we were so scared because that place has a ton of energy.
Right.
And I kept trying to bring through this woman who kept talking to me, and I asked because like if we read on the radio and stuff, we have. Anytime, I know, Tiff, you can speak for yourself, but I'll speak for you right now. Like, when you're going to an event, you have people that kind of already try to contact you before you even get there.
Yeah.
They like to be the pushy ones to kind of get in first. And
even with private readings, that's what happens.
Really?
Sometimes they'll show up the day before,
and they'll kind of stay with you until that happens. So when we read on the radio, we're getting people already, so we kind of almost have to ask every caller. Like if it's not for the first caller, it's usually the last caller that it happens for. And when we read on the radio in Fall River, we kept getting, I think, like a fisherman, and nobody would claim it. And then afterwards, the host of the show was like, "That's for me." I'm like, "Thank you. You let us ask callers all night, but it was for him."
Was it off the air that he said he knew that it was for him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we made him say it after a commercial, like, it's for you.
Right, yeah.
We're in the schoolhouse, and this woman kept coming through, and she was younger and everything else, and I kept asking people, and I finally just asked her, like, who are you here for? She was the school teacher.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I kept bringing her through, forgetting, because when we read, we forget what we say. So I'm bringing her through again, and I kept having to tell her, like, can you just wait? Can you please just wait off to the side? Because it was interfering with every single
Right.
reading that I
Wow.
did, and she just kept poking in. She's a really strong energy, so it does happen. I don't know if it happened to you there or anywhere else, but it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Actually, when you were doing the reading for my dad, somebody walked in to use their office and didn't realize you were in there.
Oh, yeah?
And you said, I'm getting this. I can't remember what it was, but it might be for the guy that just came in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yep.
right.
Yeah, because I'm on, so it's like,
Anybody that's
and,
there.
and they,
yeah.
he didn't just walk in and leave. It was
Right.
like, oh, hi. And so, like,
Right,
I
yeah.
just
So-
focused right over to him for that brief moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing like if we do a gallery style, like we have however many people in the room, it can be for anyone.
Wow.
So it's the same thing. Like when we're doing a private reading, somebody walks in the room. I do table tipping a lot, and people will be like, "Oh, well, I don't want to participate, but can I just sit off in the corner and watch?"
Doesn't work that way.
You can't do
Right.
that
Yeah.
You're
because
there, you're involved.
a message can come through to
Yeah.
you. People that are sitting at the table that have paid to be here, they're kind of taken away from them.
Gotcha.
So people do it all the time. Like, can I just be there to watch? I'm like, no, you can't. The same
Right.
thing with gallery readings. I just want to see what you do. You can't do it because people are more than likely going to come through for
Or
you.
even a private reading, because I have people that ask me
Oh, yes,
for private
yeah.
readings, like, oh, well, can a friend come with me? She just wants to write things down or be there for me. And I said, yeah, she can come, but
Right.
doesn't mean that her
Same things
friends
happen.
and family.
Yeah, for like
you
a
know.
psychic reading. Like if we're doing like cards or whatever. Oh, I just want to bring a friend that writes things down. The whole reading could be for them, but you're the one
Right.
that's paying for
Yeah,
it for
right,
yourself.
yeah.
So
Right.
I suggest no, but
Right, yep.
it takes a lot of time and concentration to block that out, but it still doesn't mean that we can do it because spirit has a mind of their own. They kind of just do whatever
They're
they
on,
want.
yeah,
Yep.
we pretty much just answer the phone, and whoever it is, they tell us. Could
Right.
even be your dog, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
yep, yep. That's pretty cool.
Now, getting back to working with Legend Trips and Legend Trips crew, you and Jeff Belanger just put out a new calendar, which
Right,
I'm
we-
super excited about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I am too. We had, it was at the last, not the last one, the legend, the Lizzie Barney, he came up to me and said, hey, I gotta ask you, would you be interested in doing a calendar? I'm like, yeah, sure. What do we need to do? He said,
If you
"Well,"
guys can put that up, and then that way,
and he said, I want to do a haunted New England. 12 images. You might have some already. I'll write up the deal and we'll see who bites. And sure enough, he did all the legwork. And he set up. It was easy. It was a lot of legwork for him and easy for sort of easy for me. By the time the deal was done, he said, "Deal's done. Here are the places we're going to hit." We actually used Andy Lake's book as some of the, because his is all of New England, and he said, "There's one catch though. This was, I think, October. He goes, has to be done by November 1st." I'm like, oh, we gotta do I gotta hit Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut. He says, yeah, so every weekend for like a month. Thank you, Bonnie, for putting up with this. I'd be gone from like 2 in the morning to like 9 at night, trying
Wow.
to get to these places
my
and hit
gosh.
them on the way down.
Yep.
But it was fun though. It was something I'll never forget. And we got all the 12 months in. We did.
Wow.
is that Mount Washington?
That's
is
Mount
that?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been there.
No.
We talked about it last week, right?
I don't
think
know.
we
We
brought it
talked
up.
about so many different places.
We had the Taps Home team on last week.
We have a field trip
Right, yep.
list
Yes.
that keeps growing, and
Right.
we haven't even bothered to hit any of them yet. So
Well,
we're working
Was
on
it
it.
Mount Washington or were you talking about the Stanley?
We're talking about both, I
Okay.
think.
Well,
Because a lot
I
of people
think this-
confuse that with the Stanley. The Stanley looks
well,
so
we
different, but this
we're
is,
definitely going to take a field trip to the Stanley.
Yeah, that one,
We
that's
definitely that's
amazing.
already in the works
Oh, is it?
in my mind.
Okay, in your mind.
I
'cause
haven't put it on
we,
paper yet.
We have other things that came first, like over 2 years ago, that we still haven't done.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, this is something.
Yeah,
We should just
getting-
go to Salem too while we're at it. Salem's so easy; it's like an hour away.
I know I've been.
I know.
I know. So you
But
should
we
just
could
come
just
with
do,
me.
okay. So
Yeah, we have some places would let you in, some places wouldn't. Because I mean, obviously, this hotel was all busy when I was there, and they said, well, you can't really take a. I can't remember which room. There's a particular room there that gets a lot of activity with, but you can take as many as you want from the outside. So some in the calendar will have some on the outside, some will have some inside shots. There's a covered bridge, Emily's Bridge. There's the this place is.
Yeah, can you show us some?
Let's see, I got some here. Let's see. Slater Mill is definitely in there.
That's a creepy picture.
These seem to.
And you can go right- you can go right to-
Lizzie Borden is in there as well. This is the inside of Mark Twain's house
Now, is
in
this?
Connecticut,
Thank you.
in Hartford, Connecticut. This place is amazing, gorgeous. This was one of those places where they don't let any photographers in there at all. You ask and they say, no, we want people to come in on their own. We don't want anybody to take photos in here. Until Jeff gets on the phone and Jeff says, look, you mind if we use you for a calendar? I'm gonna send the photographer up there, we're doing a calendar for 2014. This guy gave me a private tour of the whole place.
That's
He let me
awesome.
shoot for like 2.5 hours. It was, and this is exactly, that's his, the conservatory in the library is just in front of that. Amazing, amazing spot.
Is there more of Mark Twain's house? Or?
I think, yeah, this is the
Wow.
entrance when you first go in.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I apparently all this is all hand painted. Let's see. I don't think I have any more of the Mark Twain house.
You have some online too.
Yeah,
Right?
here is the inside of the Houghton Mansion.
It's another stop that Steph and I have to go to.
The Legend Trips event there.
I heard.
And we always
In
hear
April.
about it. It's almost
was-
like a
Yeah, it was pretty
teaser for
pretty
us. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Hopefully
definitely want
we'll
to get
make
there.
it. Yeah.
Houghton Mansion.
Some-
We all know everybody had fun at Houghton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, Houghton Mansion.
We
was
were
the
home.
best.
We didn't go.
And this is kind of what you typically see at a Legend Trips event. This is inside the Slater Mill, and that is Alicia and Jennifer doing a Ouija board session. And I was sitting on the floor and having to put the camera down. They had a flashlight going on the Ouija board so they could see the letters, and they got their EMF meters there and everything. And having to put the camera down and take a shot, and it just happened to give this awesome red flare, but kind of captures the moment of what happens at a Legend Trips event when they go when people are investigating. I think that is it. That's
That's a really cool picture.
yeah. That's another one of the. Oh, that's a cushion.
Now, okay, so I'm noticing that you're doing more and more portrait style or pictures of people.
Yes, I don't
So-
typically take photos of people. I don't know why, other than it's a little uncomfortable for me, to be honest with you.
Until we harassed you.
They don't, people, obviously, buildings don't look back at you. People do. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of strange.
Does it sound familiar?
It's kind of like how we do readings.
Okay, all right. Well,
We'd rather read a building than read people.
this particular couple, there is some weird synchronicity about this. This is on the top of Profile Rock.
Yes, I was gonna say that looks very familiar.
And we were up there, and these two kids were sitting there. And I'm like, do you mind if I take your photo from? And they turn around like, no, I want to get it from the back. Are you looking at the sun? And they're like, sure.
Let me just see. Can we get that on the screen, guys? Thanks.
So I
That's
snapped that photo, and then the next day, my aunt texts me and says, were you at Profile Rock yesterday? I said, yeah, I was. And I'm like, why is this? You took a photo of the daughter of my coworker who
Wow.
was up there. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so weird.
Yeah.
She works in Taunton, and I sent her a copy of the photo, and they were like, we love this. This is awesome. You've just captured the moment. But I do like taking photos of people. It is.
Well, people do talk back,
They do, yeah, they do talk back, and
Especially Tiff.
especially this one.
Yeah,
There we
there
go.
you go. An unreleased photo.
That's the nice enhanced version.
This
The enhanced. Give me a tan! Damn it, Frank! A tan!
this. Actually, no, it is tan. See over there?
I know.
See
That's
that?
what I was
We
kidding.
almost
That's
look
why,
the same
as you can
color.
tell, I'm pale and
That's a good one.
I have a great set of choppers.
Oh,
There's
look
Matt.
at that.
I love that picture.
This actually was taken here.
Yes,
Right.
it was.
He was over here, and I sent this to him. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm Lord." What did he say? It's the guy from Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I can't remember. And
I
was
know,
like,
I
really?
know.
And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that does look just like him. But this is an artist in New Bedford, Jim Charette. He's a sculptor, painter. He does everything. And this this is one of those guys like,
Emphasizes.
can I take your portrait? Because he just has this grungy look, and yeah. So taking pictures of people it is. I'm getting used to it. This is what I did for my wife. This is a sunflower field in Berkeley, Mass. This guy was so nice. I drive by this every day on the way to work, and in like July and August, the sunflowers are up, and I pull into the place, and I'm like, who do I talk to? Can I go take some photos of the sunflowers? And this old guy comes up, and he says, there's a reason I grow the sunflowers on the side of the road. So I said, why? He said, that's so people can enjoy them. Go
Aw.
have some fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I messed with, put the little heart in there. This is what we do during the spring, summer, and mainly the spring and the fall. This is walking through the Freetown State Forest at night, doing a lantern walk. My friend Candy puts these together. And we actually go through the
Brave
forest, all the
soul.
way up to the ledge,
I've never been.
all the way up to, see, I don't feel anything when I go through. That's why I
There's
just,
a picture of me. I'm going to have to dig it out.
Yeah.
My father brought me to Profile Rock as
right,
a child.
yeah.
I am so mad in the picture.
'Cause you don't wanna be there?
I am arms crossed. I
Yeah.
am so angry. My brother's just kind of like doofy on the side of me, like, oh, cool, it's nice to be here. I was petrified,
Wow.
horrified to be there. And I've had so many experiences with that forest that I will not go in there without my husband and
Yeah.
his 45.
This is, I'm sure somebody's packing heat in this,
Yeah.
in our group, but these are fun trips.
It's a beautiful place. It's just the energy that's in that place is out of this world.
See, I
And
can't go back. Okay, this one. This I wanted to talk about. This one is inspired by my friend Adam Cray, who's writing a film. He did a short film. If you look it up on YouTube, it's called Last Scene, SEEN. It takes place in New Bedford. This is actually an alley in New Bedford.
as I said,
Dover
it looks like
Street.
downtown.
Yeah, Dover Street. Yeah, you got the cobblestone.
Yep.
But he sent me the first couple of pages of the script, or he talked to me about it. I can't remember now. But this cloak figure, and it's this whole horror drama, cop killer movie, and this is completely inspired by this guy's writing. And it actually turned out okay. He looked at it and goes, this is what I was envisioning in my head. This cloaked figure goes and takes somebody up out of the way. What else do we have? Oh. I think this is a friend of mine, Harry, and his wife. This is down at Providence, India Point Park. Really nice place for
okay.
sunsets, too. This is across the street from White's factory.
It's so
I can't
funny
remember-
because
Mill Pond, I think it is. I can't remember
that
the name
sounds
of it.
familiar.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Nobody even realizes that these places are here,
Right,
that they exist,
right,
or they
it's-
even look like this.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's because you take it for granted. There's
Yep.
so many.
You just
do.
drive on by and you keep
do.
going.
This is Boston at night. This is down at the Harbor Walk. It's another nice spot. And that's Acushnet as
Yep.
well. This is not too far from that last shot.
Now, is there a place that you would like to go and take pictures of, or?
The one place I'd really like to go, you can't get into, it's called the Lakeville State Hospital in Lakeville. That place is, if there was one place I begged and pleaded to get into, through proper channels, but it's not happening. It's an old tuberculosis ward. The lab is still there. I mean, I've seen photos, people break into the place all the time. The lab is still there, the eye and lungs is still there. That would be at the top of my list, but it's probably not gonna happen.
What if you just went to Waverly Hills Sanitarium?
That would be, I'm trying to think, who did I ask? Is it Rolling Hills? a lot of these places want to charge me money to go photograph them,
Right.
but they want the
Right.
rights to the photos.
Gotcha.
That's not
So
cool.
it's kind of like Rolling Hills was, oh yeah, you can come. It's going to cost you $350. I'm like, I got to drive 9 hours to get there. I'm not gonna. So yeah.
Right.
So well, eventually go to
It's
some of
almost
those
like
other
you're doing
places.
them a favor though by bringing more business to them by taking the pictures.
A lot of the places, if it's a nonprofit
Yeah.
or something like that, I have no problem. Like the Orpheum photos,
Yep.
donating any sales to them if they help out. I'm more than happy to.
Should have my glasses on. Al Capone style?
Al Capone cell, yep. It's a
You
great.
can look right here, silly.
I know, I can't see that far.
But you can't see over there either.
But it's bigger. I'm older than you, remember that?
Yes, but you're the one that brought it up
Lincoln
this time.
Park.
I know.
Lincoln Park in Westport. And yeah, I think we went through them all.
You should,
Have you ever been
The Haunted Victorian.
the Victorian?
We haven't.
Cool
soon.
place.
Soon.
That's in our plans.
Very, very cool spot. Cool spot.
We'll be going there soon.
Yeah, and I think we went through the rest of them. Yeah. So,
Amazing photos.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, guys, you have to check out trigphotography.com. You can
Yes.
order prints. Highly recommend the metallic finish or
Yeah,
frame.
All the metal prints itself.
That's what I- yeah, sorry, that's
the
what I
metal
mean.
Prints, yeah.
And also, you can go to Amazon, and it's, what's the name of the calendar?
Haunted New England calendar. Haunted New England, 2014 Haunted New England. Just do a search for that on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, anywhere. It's already listed for pre-sale.
Now, do you think you guys would be able to get some on hand for the next Legend Trips event?
If it's,
Maybe
yes,
sell 'em
they're
there?
supposed to be available, I think they ship the end of July, so the next Legend Trips is August, what, 30th or 31st, I think?
31st,
So
August
yeah,
31st.
we should have some there for the event.
Oh,
yeah.
see, I think, good.
Yeah,
Good,
so
good, good.
That'll be fun, yeah. I'm looking forward to having an actual copy in my hand.
I
Should be
know, and then
pretty
you
cool.
guys are going to be like rock stars,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
signing away. Absolutely.
So, but it's fun. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to come on here and
Well, thank you. Like,
and talk.
I'm so glad that you did, because you have so much to offer, and I know you always call it a hobby, but it's like your passion is just leaking through everywhere. So it really is a pleasure to have you.
Knowing people that get a lot out of it, it makes it worthwhile and yeah, keeps you going. Yeah.
Right, and I know you don't want to do portraits, but whenever you want to take pictures of Steph and I, we'll be your divas, because that's how it is.
Whenever. We used to try to sneak into his pictures at Legend Trips events, like just photobomb them so that way
Well,
we
see,
could
we
say who
never
we were.
made it. It'd always
We
be
never
just
made
like
it.
the building, and I'm like, no, I walked by at the right
I know
time.
I was in this picture.
And this is Frank. What is she doing? I'm going to crop that out.
Yeah.
Well, see, at the same
tried.
time, I didn't want to stalk you guys. Seriously, honest to God, this
We
is
were
the truth.
stalking you.
Yeah. Hi, Frank.
Well-
I'm Tiffany. I'm over here. If you want a picture.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
So hopefully next time you can get us like on an anchor.
You'll be sorry.
No,
way.
because I'll be like, I said top up, not bottom down. Frank.
I love it. Well, we have no more time left.
I
We're out
know.
of time, but thank you so much for joining us. We love your work.
Thanks.
We'll be
Thanks
stalking
for having
you
me.
as
Cool.
usual, and
Anytime.
And the show is going to be archived on SpookySouthCoast.com as well, because we had the technical difficulties tonight. But it will be up and running, and of course I'm going to put it on my site, which I'll attach it to your site
Cool,
and Steph's
thanks.
site and everybody's site. So thank you again so much, Frank, for
Thank you.
coming on
Thanks for
and
having me.
putting up
It's
with us
been
again.
cool. Wasn't that scary?
All right. And just so you guys know, we are, since it is the summer, and I told you that we are taking a lighter season, we won't be back for the 4th of July week, but we will be back later on in July. So until then, have a nice and safe, happy 4th of July, and we will see you next time.
bye.
See ya.
Just get us out of all this. Go back to your blue screen.